Hopefully it doesn't voice out. But it is New York, and it's going to be loud.
Yeah, told you.
We've been talking for a while, and I wanted to create a podcast with Operation Cross Training and what I've been doing there, but I also want to create more than that. Not sure what that's going to look like, but on the podcast, I want it the most important person that I have, which is my wife, to be the number one person that we do the podcast with, or that I do the podcast with. So what better place than to carve out about 30 minutes up here in the Big Apple and create just our first podcast together.
Nice.
We went to the, EXO conference this past year. Well, I say this past year, 2 weeks ago?
Literally, yeah. Not that long ago.
So about 2 weeks ago, and it was really good, but we felt God talking to us about both of our passions, and we kind of opened up a little bit, and we're vulnerable and transparent to each other. We discussed part of our passions that is mutual between each other is the idea that we just want to help other couples. We've been through a lot of struggles. We've had the opportunity to do a lot of classes and small groups and church ministry towards us because we've struggled in a lot in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, we're members at Gateway, South Lake.
So because of those struggles and everything, we feel like God is bringing our marriage back out, kind of like a phoenix from the ashes. So our God is bringing our marriage to a place where we'd love to be able to help other people. We also discussed that we don't know when that's going to be, when we can do that, and then really came to the conclusion that because...
There's pigeons right here looking at them. Sorry, distracted.
Came to the conclusion just because we don't have all our stuff together doesn't mean we can't help other people. And I think we kind of looked at our place in life as, what is that?
Cat.
Is that really a cat? Or is
No.
that somebody making cat noise?
Somebody making a cat noise. We're in New York.
So we
It's
discussed
funny here.
that we're never going to have a perfect marriage, never going to have a perfect even day or hour. But we want to go ahead and get started on helping people. I think that was a good breakthrough for us because we were just trying so hard to get everything, not perfect, but together. And
Trying to get on the same page. I mean, if anybody knows us personally or is one of my dear friends, knows that we've had struggle. Like, we have a lot of struggle. We have a lot of issues with dying to self, both of us. And, I mean, one of the things that we've both kind of agreed on, even, like, in and out of our struggle, is that we need accountability. We need maybe to start. We've thrown around the idea of starting a group.
a small group in our house.
A small
One
group.
reason we purchased the house was to have some space to do that.
Yeah.
Inviting space.
Yes. And, like, in doing that, it's not saying that we're qualified or that we're this amazing Christian couple that knows what we're doing. But I think one thing that we pulled from the conference, and we've talked about, several times in and out of our struggle, is that we just need a space where we can be real and get real with other couples and let them know our struggles, because when you do that, it creates, I don't know, like not a misery loves company, but like
it's accountability.
A community, accountability, and it keeps us, it keeps us on track. Just trying to share our marriage and trying to share what has gone on and what we're trying to be better at. So in no way, shape, or form are we saying in trying to work on stuff like this or doing videos like this or even having a small group in our home that we've made it. I mean, we had a big struggle in January. So
this past January,
it's
a month
February.
and a half ago. So
it's February. So
honestly, for me, and I think for a lot of people, if you teach somebody to do something, you learn a lot more than they do, or you get more in depth with that.
Or you have to put it into
So
practice, or you get convicted.
we're not even trying to teach as much as just walk through
Yeah.
struggles with people, because it helps reveal struggles in us and helps remove scales off of our own eyes and helps
Right.
us walk through that and even build not just a deeper relationship with each other, but with
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
And that's just something that we want to be. I believe we feel
Mhm.
called by God to do that. So part of this podcast and what
Well, to journey with others that
Yeah.
may be struggling or may be fine, but just want to get into a group and just encourage one another.
So part of what we're doing here, or this podcast, or what we're trying to accomplish, is just be transparent, open, and honest with people,
Mhm.
and go through that. Also, I don't know, I have a heart that I love to teach people, and
Mhm.
I've had a long journey, kind of a struggle with seeing where that fits in with my life and how God wants to do that. And I
Mhm.
know that I've stepped forward before God made a path for me to step forward into something. And it's just, we've lost some money along the way. We've lost a lot of time along the way.
Mhm.
And I don't even know if I'd call it a loss. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. I would say it was a good learning opportunity. But if we can help other people not make that mistake and have that learning opportunity through just knowledge and passing on, I
Mhm.
think that would set people forward a lot more to learn by others' mistakes. I know. That's why we look at history and look at other couples, and these small groups are really good because we hear what other people's struggles have gone through, how they've overcome that, and what God says through the Bible and through the Holy Spirit we
Mhm.
need to do to overcome that. So instead of having to fight that alone, we have other people to work through
Mhm.
that with. So,
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
yeah. And this trip to New York, the reason why we're up here, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
Mhm.
So Andrea's birthday was on December 6th, and I took her and the family out to, how do you say it? I can't say it. I'll mess it up.
Buca de Beppo.
Yeah, Boo Dee Boo, whatever it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah. So took her to there with the kids, and I gave her a card. And what was in the
Mhm.
card?
Tickets to Michael Bublé, which I was super excited about because I've always wanted to go to a concert of his. Even before Chris and I met, I loved his music. So that was pretty exciting for me in that moment. And then I can't remember if I looked down and read that it said Madison Square Garden.
I kind of prompted you a little
Or
bit.
you were like, yeah, look where it's at or something like that. And then I just kind of freaked out because,
It
I
was already
was
like-
just assuming like, oh, cool, like we're going to go to a concert in Dallas or,
It was
you know,
already like
I don't know.
8:30 at night. She's like, is this tonight? Are we going tonight?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
so excited.
I was like, is it this weekend? Like, is this happening? It was so kind of crazy. And then that's when he was like, yeah, we're going to go to New York and then we're going to have a few days to see the sights and
Yeah.
hang out. And
So a little backstory on that. Ever since we've known each other, while we were dating, then we got married, but before we were even dating, you wanted to go see Michael Bublé for the
Mhm.
longest time. Well, Michael Bublé, then him and his wife had a child,
Children.
that
Mhm.
children that just took him off a tour,
Mhm.
and we thought, oh well, we're never going to get to see, and I didn't get a chance to take you before. Also, we've talked about coming up to New York, just me and you, for a long time. Wanted to do ice skating, like
Mhm.
Rockefeller Center, wanting to go to Central Park, Times Square, do all that stuff. So for our 10-year anniversary, I thought that would be a really suiting,
Mhm.
fitting trip for us. So I went and looked up Michael Bublé, and sure enough, he was playing around this time in February. Well, our 10-month anniversary is in February. So it all
Kinda
worked
worked
out,
out.
and I was able to bring you up here, and we've had an amazing time. It snowed in Central Park while we were up here.
Yesterday. And we did one of my bucket
During a
lists.
carriage ride.
Yeah, that was one of my bucket list thing. I had a list of things I wanted to do or see while we were here together. Some of the sights, but some like more, I don't know, romantic type stuff. And so that was one of them, is a carriage ride in Central Park. And it was so pretty. And it was warm. And then we knew it was going to snow at some point yesterday. And then there it went. Like we got in the carriage, got going.
It was absolutely beautiful for like 3 minutes, and then it was freezing cold. We were wet and cold, but it was worth it. It was worth
It was fine because we were in the carriage. He
every
keeps saying he was
second of it.
super cold, but
well, I was sitting on
fine.
the side. It was blowing in and under and
Okay,
around,
well.
and you were on the side with the. Oh, we got in, and there were blankets sitting there, and I said, "You want to put those blankets on that everybody else has used and gotten dirty?" She's like, "Nope." 2 minutes later, give me all the blankets. I want all the
Yeah,
blankets.
because it significantly got colder when it started snowing, obviously. So, anyways, it was just really cool. And I know this sounds cheesy, but I was like, because when we first got to Central Park, I really wanted to go to Tavern on the Green, also a bucket list thing. It was closed for reservations for like a few days. So I was very bummed. And then we saw these horse carriages, and we had walked for like 45 minutes.
Hold on. I want to stop you right there for a second.
Oh. What's up?
There's the, what's his name? The cowboy in his underwear? The naked cowboy.
Oh, my gosh. You're right. He's over there.
Hold on.
Oh, dear.
There's you could see him right over there behind the Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse. He's the naked cowboy.
What's going on, guys? You guys
So,
need us for the podcast?
anyways,
man.
yeah.
I don't know if that's appropriate for this marriage.
Well, I kind of covered him
podcast.
up with Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, and all that
Okay,
other
you could have
stuff.
just said he was over there. Anyways, carriage ride was amazing, and I know it's cheesy, but I was like, I feel like God planned this because Evelyn, my daughter, and I have been wanting to see snow forever. Her more than me. But when I knew we were coming up here, I was like, ooh, maybe it'll snow because it's February, and it totally did. And I'm just like, man, maybe God ordained that because when we got to Central Park and I was bummed about Tavern on the Green, we saw these carriage rides, and I was like, and also we walked like 45 minutes to get there. We just decided to walk it from our hotel to get to Central Park, which was fine.
I'll
but-
admit, being a guy, I had it all figured out, but I didn't. And we walked. We didn't walk the wrong way. We just walked perpendicular for a long
Oh, my
time.
word. It
And
was the
realized that we were almost in the Hudson
I was like,
Bay
can
or
you
something.
look at the map and make sure we're headed the right way? And he kept saying, it's fine, it's fine.
So
And
I
we
realized, I don't know, we've come out of the subway a few times. And
We just
I
get turned
cannot
around,
find my
man.
directions here. I can usually find them anywhere, but here I have no idea.
It's a little confusing for sure. Anyways, so when we
But
got
we made it.
there, I was very tired, and I've been having like a back issue. And so I was like, oh, I want to sit down. Let's go get a carriage ride. And then he was like, wait, there's this pile of rocks over there that's like pretty, and I want to take a picture on
That
it.
they've had in some movies.
It's
and
kind of
stuff,
like
and-
iconic.
Yeah.
There's some hotels in the background, and then you're in the park. It's cool. So I was like, ugh, fine, okay, let's do that. Which I'm glad he did, because then if we would have started the carriage ride, I don't know. I think it probably would have almost been over with before we even got to have the snow. So it was so pretty on our carriage ride because we were just taking all these snowy pictures.
Mhm.
It was very romantic. So it was very fun.
And then, again, got lost right after that. We went to.
Oh my gosh.
We
Central
took
Park
it.
is like a forest.
We
Like
took a Uber. Well, it was snowing and you couldn't
it's
see
snowing, you can't see anything.
So we took not an Uber, a Lyft up around to the boathouse because Tavern on the Green was closed.
Oh yeah, we figured out that the horse carriage guy told us about Boathouse,
Mhm.
and then a guy that Chris met on the plane on the way here suggested
Recommended
Boathouse.
that. Yeah.
And so we were like, oh yeah, let's go there.
And it was good.
Amazing, and that place has been in movies. One of them was 27 Dresses. So
Okay.
they filmed something there. But
They-
anyways, it doesn't matter about the movie. It's just really gorgeous. So
If you get a good guy doing the carriage ride, he stopped almost every place and told us
Mhm.
this movie was here, this is here,
Yeah,
this is where
that's pretty
so and so
cool.
lives, and that was pretty neat. He was telling us one of the penthouses up top sold for $99 million.
That's
A
crazy.
few of them did. It's
Mm.
of those high-rise buildings. But so we get over there, we eat, great food, had a good time.
Mhm.
It had snowed just enough to make the little
Like a blanket of snow.
snow over the water there,
Oh yeah.
basically.
It was
And
freezing.
so it was really pretty. So we get done and we walk all the way around because we're trying to get to the museum.
Yeah, we fit a
And
lot in yesterday.
We looked at
the
the
Natural
map
History Museum.
and how the map was. We were kind of tracking right. Well, we started getting a little bit carried away looking at some of the stuff, and we veered off the path. And we ended up talking to this guy. I have a video of him. He's feeding birds out of his hand, and the squirrels come up, and it's like
There's
this Disney
so many
mystical
yeah.
creatures going on.
So many random things going on in Central Park.
But we
Good
got
things.
we got lost, and our phones pretty much died
Yeah, and I was freaking
in the
out.
middle of Central Park, and we're trying to find this museum. And we only have like 2 hours to go to the museum, visit, and then we got to get back to eat, and then go to our concert.
to go to Buble.
Buble there. And so, and the phone, when it was snowing, was getting all wet, so I couldn't use it. And I guess cold weather just makes those batteries die fast. Anyways, phone died, so we're lost in Central Park. Andrea starts not freaking out, but
I'm
just
freaking out.
stressing.
I was
a lot.
stressing
And I'm like, yeah,
because
let's go here. Let's go do it. I can see it. I promise. It's right over there.
uh-huh.
But between that and the fact I wore my cowboy boots and there's no tread on them, I almost fell
Oh.
down a few times.
He was like skiing everywhere. He was slipping, sliding everywhere. I don't know. There was no traction on them.
yeah.
It was
and
funny.
We got over to the museum and we ended up doing that, and it was good. Just New York's it's a different animal here. I mean, I couldn't find my way around. We called a Lyft after the Michael Bublé concert, and I got upset because I couldn't get the guy to come meet us right where we were at because the app told him a little bit further off, and I couldn't figure out which street to take. And I guess for me that was really frustrating. So, and I'm sorry if I'm looking around everywhere. I'm not used to it. There's a lot of stuff going on in New York, and I don't want to make sure somebody don't like come up and try to mess with us or our bag and stuff like that. So, but the trip
Anyways,
has been good.
Overall, it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's little things here and there. People are actually fairly nice up here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just
very helpful.
Are business straight to where they want to go and what they want to do. But it's been an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of memories just packed into these few days. We didn't even go to bed till like 3 or 4 last night.
Yeah.
And we've just been trying to just
pack
do
everything in.
as much stuff as we can.
We're going to need like 2 days to rest when we get home.
Yes.
Which thankfully I think you're off for a day or so.
I'm off for 2 days.
Nice.
But when I get home, I got to wake up early and take the kids to school, which will be nice to see them, but they'll probably come home and rest.
Yeah.
If we
The
don't have
big
other
kids.
things around the house we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that to say, it's good to get away. We needed this trip for our marriage, for each other. Some of the stuff that we're dealing with personally with God and that we're going through, it's good to just kind of get away from work, get away from where you're at, and get out.
Honestly, we probably needed, maybe not New York, but like, I think every couple years it would be good for couples to just get away like a night or two. Not just a date night, but like literally go stay in a hotel for a couple days, get that romance ramped back up, go to dinner, go do an activity, go do something fun. Because I know, us girls, we like to just like dinner and a movie or dinner and dancing, but like, yeah, go do something fun, like an activity, I don't know, top golf or mini golf or something.
I'll tell you what, the best thing about here and that we were away, remember we were up, I think, at that on the Rockefeller Center, that little lounge area that we were very pretty up there, and we were eating and we were talking, and kind of came to the realization, hey, we don't have to be home like immediately to get the kids. We don't have that pressure of like having to worry about the babysitter doing that
or paying. So
it's super good to just. Yes, it's nice to go away for a date night or to get away.
And that's good, and everybody should do that.
It's nice to go for a date night and get away, but it's also very important to maybe get away for a few days so that you can just, the stresses of work, the stresses of normal life, and if you have kids, all of those responsibilities you can kind of
reconnect.
Yeah, put on the back burner and reconnect for a little bit. So
reconnect, go get a massage together. That's one thing we almost thought about doing because our backs are a little tweaked or messed up. Him from working out, me from I don't know what, but
I just want to get some knots worked out. But we figured we would do New York things here, and then we can get a massage when we go back home if we wanted to get that done.
Right.
But
we really wanted to enjoy and take everything in, and it's hard not to cram everything in, but I feel like we did a pretty good job of resting when we needed to. And
the first night, so we'll set this up. Real life, this is what happens. The first night that we got here, we were so tired. I mean, we stayed up super late too because we just want to get stuff in. But the night before that, when we were packing and getting ready, we left at like 10 o'clock at night to go to the grocery store just to get food.
Yeah.
For the days that we're not going to be there for the kids, get a little cash for whoever's keeping them, everything else like that. We didn't go to bed till what, 3 o'clock?
And we needed to wake up at 4.
And we had to wake up at 3:45.
That was ridiculous.
To leave at 4.
So we basically stayed up all night.
And we talked about sleeping on the plane, but we got a conversation with the gentleman on the plane, and you watched that movie, so we didn't get any sleep basically until like 12 or 1 o'clock. We were up for quite a while. We were just worn out because the days leading up to it, you're like cleaning and getting the house ready and getting the kids' stuff ready and taking care of all of that. So we got here. And
it was quite a task to even get ready to come up here, but do it. You should take a trip with your spouse, even if it's not like this. And we did kind of, I mean, and this is not normal for us. Like, we didn't have a honeymoon. We haven't taken a trip on a plane.
Our honeymoon was
Away
one night in
from
a
our
hotel in the Dallas area.
Yeah. We have not taken a trip away from our kids because they're
We've taken one. We
7
took one
and 10.
in Rockwall, and that
Yeah.
was it for like
But what
3
I'm
days.
saying is not a long drive somewhere, not in a plane, so not as far. We were in like an hour or so.
If we need to get right back home, so
Right.
we kind of bore the responsibility and kept that on the back of our minds. If we need to go, we could go right now. So this was kind of nice. I mean,
This was more upscale type trip, not saying, I mean, you can go do something super local and just go, I mean, which is, I think,
we'll probably end up doing that.
yeah, I
It's-
think we need
yeah.
to make that part of at least either once a year, every 2 years or something. And
We
I
were
don't know.
talking about that, I
Anyways,
think once a year.
we're
is
basically
good.
just saying, invest in each other, take the time. I mean, I had a friend that, a very dear friend, and one of her things that she, struggled with is her husband did not want to leave the kids. Because I understand. I mean, you got to be able to leave the kids with somebody that you trust. But almost wouldn't do any trips, and it was years. And so it's just, that was a hardship on their marriage because she really wanted to travel and do some trips. And so it's just go do it. Like, just take the time and find the people that love your kids, even if it's a friend. I mean, I have 2 friends that are taking shifts with our kids, and I had 2 family members that were helping watch our kids. So, I mean, you just kind of got to let go and let God, like, work things out and invest in your marriage.
I think at one point during our trip, we were talking to the littlest one, Jackson, and he saw us on FaceTime. Remember, he had such a sad look on his face. He was
I think because he was just, he's 2, and so he doesn't quite understand like where we are. And we haven't been this far away from him or this long away from him.
From him, for sure.
From
and
him.
well, from Evelyn and Cooper either. We haven't been this far away from any of our kids.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the farthest we've gone.
But the older ones, I mean, Evelyn and Cooper, they understand.
They can kind of fend for themselves. They understand.
They understand, and they know, okay, Mommy and Daddy will be back on, late Thursday night. We'll be taking them to school on Friday morning. And then they love the people that are with them.
I'm going to be honest. I might have to wake them up when we get home just to give them a hug. Probably not. Yeah.
No, it's a school night.
I know. I
I'm
don't care.
highly disagreeing
You highly
with
disagree?
that. But we can go in and kiss them and not wake them up.
I'll probably do that.
Just
But
go
I'll
look
be
at them.
excited to see them in the morning. I think they'll be excited
Yeah.
to see us.
Yeah, you think you'll hop right up out of bed? Because we're getting in late tonight.
But I'll try to.
Very late.
No.
So, anyways, we've just really enjoyed, and it's meant a lot to me that Chris has done this because, I don't know, I've just, I would guess I was my friend, that I was referring to as well. Like, I've wanted to take trips and take time, and there's been times where he's just said no because reasonably, like, we don't have the money for it or whatever. Or he maybe just didn't want to do it because of XYZ, whatever. But I just really appreciate that we did this and he took the time and made the effort and planned all this out. I mean, because I kept saying, like, oh my goodness, we're going to New York, and I keep forgetting that we're going to Michael Bublé. And it's just, there were things that we just kept looking forward to, and like, oh, we're going to go to Central Park. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to the concert tonight. Like, it's real.
I think
like, it's happening.
For the longest time, you were worried that you were like, you're going to take this away. You're not going to go follow through with this. Like, this
I don't
isn't
know.
gonna
Or we were
happen.
going to get in a fight or something.
Yeah.
I was going to end up having to, like, bring a friend or something. And which,
Oh, no, we were both coming. But
were we going to be mad?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I was like, I don't want to come with you if we're going to be in a big old fight. Like, I'd rather just enjoy. So I am so thankful that we did not let the enemy take part. And we definitely chose to, and mainly Chris, because I am a stress ball when, people are coming into my house and helping out. And so I was wanting it to be nice and clean and organized. And I mean, I
did amazing.
I didn't
You did amazing.
get it very
Job.
organized. Sorry, that was loud. I really wanted to, like, have all their clothes set out. I mean, we had them all clean, thanks to Chris. But I wanted to, like, have them all set out for, like, each day so they wouldn't really have to do much. But thankfully, because of our bigger 2, they, they do a lot. They have a lot of chores, and so I kind of knew that, the only major thing they would have to do is take them to school and keep them alive, and then really care and check on Jackson a lot, because Evelyn and Cooper are pretty self-sufficient. So I hope it hasn't been too crazy.
I'm going to mess with
But-
the camera here because
The wind looks like it's about to knock
wind
it
just
over.
started picking up a little bit.
Anyways, I guess we could wrap this up because it's kind of going longer than
Yeah,
we
we
thought.
just, I want to start a podcast, and I see a lot of value in that. But not just that. Andrea and I were looking at doing marriage stuff with other couples, and
Maybe
not
we'll
that
get,
we have everything together, but
Right.
we like to
We're
work do it
trying.
with people,
We're
and
I think we're
I
both
think
on the
marriage is super important.
right, and I think we're on the same page. I don't know, just going to that marriage conference, it really. I've told him for years, like I feel like because he's a good teacher and I'm a feeler, and so like I care a lot about couples and people.
You've told me for years I don't have feelings.
No,
Oh, you do tell me I don't have feelings.
well, because sometimes you don't act like it. You want to keep it real?
You're the
On
feeler.
the podcast.
You're the feeler.
I'm the feeler. He's the teacher. I just feel like I have a passion for, a passion and a burden for others that are hurting or like struggling because, we've struggled personally. And so
a lot.
it just hit me. And then
Yeah.
like listening to all the couples at the marriage conference, basically
like how in depth their relationship seemed to be. And
strong and kind of like their foundation, and then also saying, hey man, like we've screwed up, like I've screwed up as a husband or I've screwed up as a wife or whatever. It just kind of prompted that in my heart again, that I would just ultimately I would love to get to a place where we can lift other couples up, and or like we're talking about now, just journey with us. And so when I told Chris that, and I'm just like, this is not only just helping couples and helping marriages, like this is helping children. Because if mommy and daddy ain't right, and if they don't have God in their marriage, then there's going to be insecurities. There's going to be, even in our own marriage, like I've, have been burdened and sad about how things are going because, to be honest, it's very up and down. And so now at this point, I feel and I'm hoping and I'm praying against the enemy coming back in, but I want it to continue, for it to be constant, and for us to realize that there is a real enemy and that we're not enemies and that we need to lean into each other. And I don't know, I feel like Chris showed me in a big way right before our trip, because I just keep, we have little ups and downs, and I was waiting for the shoe to drop, and he really just showed caring and loving and patience with me while I was being a big old stress ball. So I really appreciate that, and this trip has been amazing. I'm so thankful, and we've had such a good time.
You're welcome. Move on. Thank you. That guy was sitting over there looking at us for a while. Yeah, I don't know. New York's a little bit different because people come up and try to hand you stuff and try to talk to you about stuff, and it's just like, I just here to see the
I know,
sights.
Chris is not into that, which I'm not usually either, but
I don't even know what a
Gotta
sign
be
said.
nice to the
I'm
people.
I'm trying not to be rude to anybody, but
It's hard.
well, I appreciate everything you said, and I'm trying. It takes a decision. I know for me for the longest time in our marriage, I knew exactly what to do, but the decision, you just have to make the decision to do the right thing. And lately, I've been reflecting a lot, spending a lot of time with God, and looking back and just realizing anybody can hold a title and a job. People are going to build big businesses. Big businesses are going to fail. People are going to win competitions. People are going to fade out in competition, and then 100 years from now, people won't even remember the names of all of this stuff. But what will remain is your legacy, what you did, your children, what you move forward with, and growing them so that they can raise their children and their grandchildren, and leaving that legacy of having a Christ-centered, it starts at your Christ-centered marriage. I fully believe that.
Bringing God
That's
into
where
it.
the start is. But then you living your personal life, which if you have a Christ-centered marriage, you should be living a personal life of glorifying God, walking with the Holy Spirit, getting in the Word and trying to understand things that God said. And
putting the other first.
yes, putting everybody else first, really. That's the definition of leadership, servant leadership, just putting other people before you. And so anyways, that's what we're trying, that's what we're working on here with this podcast. I have no idea. I have no idea how this is even going to turn out or look or what, we're going to look back and go, man, we were so amateurs. We just babbled on about stuff. But
We do.
You got to start.
We rabbit trail a
Yeah,
little bit.
we do. You got to start somewhere,
Mhm.
and the most important person on this earth in my life is my wife right here, and I love her so much. And so she was going to be. I've recorded some other stuff, but for my first official podcast and actually publishing and put it up, I wanted you to be on here. I think,
Mhm.
you know, you're the most important person. You're my person. That's what we say to each other. You're my
Mhm.
person. And so,
Well, Grey's Anatomy there.
oh, is that where that came
Mhm.
from? Oh, I thought that was original for us. Anyways,
no,
you're
it's
still
that's a Meredith and Christina thing.
No, you're still my person. And I wanted to do this. Man, it got cold.
I know.
It kicked up.
Mhm.
I wanted to do this in Times Square, or at least up here in New York with you. I thought this would be a fun first podcast to do. So
Yeah.
I know we're trying to blowing and going and doing a lot of stuff, but
Mhm.
thank you for letting me spend
Mhm.
30 minutes or so pulling out this podcast stuff and recording this first podcast. And I'm excited to see where the future goes.
Mhm.
We'll keep everybody updated as to what we'll do with marriage classes and kind of getting that moving
Mhm.
forward. So, yeah, I think that's a good place to move for us. So we're gonna move in that direction.
Yeah,
Very
we have
excited.
a flight to catch tonight, so there's a couple more things.
Well, it got
that
delayed, or it got canceled.
It got canceled.
So I've got a few friends in the airline industry that are looking into other options.
Mhm.
So instead of a straight shot, we might have to jump some planes. But
It's okay.
either way, we're going to get back home, but we're going to run, and I guess we're going to still try to do maybe ice skating,
Rockefeller Center, maybe.
Empire State Building,
Empire
Grand
State
Central
Building.
Station.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what we get to, but
Adventures. So we're going to try to go cram a little bit of that in before we have to go to the airport.
very good. All right. Well, I love you, honey. Thank you for being on my first podcast.
Of course.
I'd kiss you if
Happy
we
to
didn't have
do it.
microphones in the way, but
Mhm. It's okay.
um,
We don't want to gross anybody
yeah.
out.
Thank you, guys. So you can visit the website I have right now is operationcrosstraining.com. We may be doing something different for marriage
Mhm.
stuff,
Mhm.
but I will post all that on Operation Cross Training. Operation Cross Training is more for men. I
Mhm.
feel like that's where God's leading that. It's just for men standing up, being men. Accountability
being
and
men for,
being men for Christ.
Okay.
Being men for,
you said
did I
men
just
being men. Manly men.
manly men.
Sorry.
Accountability,
Yeah.
mentorship, and apprenticeship. I think those
Mhm.
are three things. I think apprenticeship is really lost. I used to believe that
Like
You could just have
chivalry is
a-
lost. Apprenticeship is lost.
a lot of it's lost around here. I haven't seen very much
Mm.
chivalry around here, except for the doors I hold for you, of course. Of course, look at me go.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Anyways,
Joke.
but I used to think that one size fits all. You could teach somebody something out of a box, but I've learned over the years mentorship and apprenticeship is, I think, the best thing. So that's where it's really leading to, but we'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah.
Anyways, honey, I love you. Thank you so much for being on this podcast,
Mhm.
and
I love you too.
we'll see which way this goes. You
Yeah,
guys have
and
fun. Oh, go ahead.
Be praying. Yeah, just be praying for us after this gets posted as to where God wants to lead us, because I've always told Chris, like, I really want to get more back into a routine of praying first and asking God, where do you want us and how would you lead us? Because I think it's important.
It's very
So.
important. So,
Anyways,
all right, guys, thank you. I just wanted to point out, you know what? I'm not even going to look over there. There's a guy holding a sign up. We were talking about truth and transparency. This sign he's holding up. Look at it. Can you see it, that big sign up there? What does it say?
need something.
Why lie? Need money for weed. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear. Anyways,
so maybe
keeping it real.
maybe we should stop at that. But all right, guys, thank you very much for coming to check out this podcast.
Mhm.
We're going to have some more coming soon, and stay tuned.
Thank you.